HWA fans, I'm sitting here with the American Kickboxer today. Kickboxer, we wanted to talk a little bit about your legendary feud with Tarek the Legend. Why don't you tell fans at home a little bit about this feud that maybe haven't had the privilege of seeing your battles over the years?
Personally, I started professional wrestling in 1990. This was a time that having smaller wrestlers, anybody under 200 pounds, was just unheard of, absolutely unheard of. But I still struggled, and I went across the United States and I wrestled anywhere and everywhere that I could wrestle. And then in 1993, I came to a gym, and that's when I had seen Tarek the Great. And I knew right then and there that if Tarek and I were to do anything in the wrestling business, it was going to have to be with each other. So that's kind of where it began, and it built up to, in 1 year, 156 matches with each other, which I don't know how many of you could actually fathom something like that. But for two guys who didn't have a place in professional wrestling, for two guys that were told they were too small, him and I made it. And in 1997, Tarek the Great, American Kickboxer, was the feud of the year. Not just here and there, it was the feud of the year in all of professional wrestling. So right now what we're talking about, you're talking about a feud that's lasted, if you do the math, almost 17 years. And when I seen this kid, he reminded me of when Tarek and I were first breaking in. And I'm sure everybody told this kid he was too small. Everybody told this kid that he didn't have what it takes. But the one thing they couldn't measure on this kid was his heart. It's the same thing that they couldn't measure on me. That was my heart. So I took this kid in. I've trained this kid. And I've given this kid the knowledge that it would take to take on somebody with a degree. Tarek the Legend. For two guys that had no place in professional wrestling, we made our place. And, you go ahead and you take my words for this right now. Tarek the Great and this kid, they have the potential to make history again. And I promise you, by the time that this match is over, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
HWA fans, make sure to stay tuned for our part 2, in which we add the kid to this discussion here.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to a very special edition of The Pulse right here on HWAOnline.com. I am your host, Chris the Brain, and joining me is my co-host, Ron Mathis, and we are on the road to HWA Hysteria. It is coming to Norwood, the Donald E. Prue Center, on Saturday night, March the 27th, 8 p.m. start. And a lot of big things happening. A lot of big things happen here tonight that affect what's going to happen on Saturday, March 27th, including that big main event. It is a no-holds-barred match. King Vu accepted the challenge last week right here on The Pulse. Take on the Madness, Chris Hall. No-holds-barred, and things got out of control here tonight at the Sword.
You know who has a really strong history of no-holds-barred matches in Norwood?
Who's that?
That'd be me. Killed Beach. Remember?
Yeah, well, that is nothing to be proud of.
It isn't?
And you of all people, considering what happened to your... Well, we'll get to that later. Right now, let's take a look at the footage from earlier tonight.
Okay? Go, get up! Go, get up! Get up! Get up! Here is the winner of the match and the new American Lucha Court. No, I'm not going to box that. He used up. He used up. Get up, get up. Check his defense. I won't. Check his defense. No, check his defense. Check his defense. got nothing? I just laid your ass out in the ring. Come Norwood, there will be blood.
Did you see that? Did you see that, Nate Flames? You know what, don't even say it. It's as simple as this. What I did out there in that battle royal, in this very ring where I tossed 1, 2, 3, 4, a huge amount of muscle, strength out of the ring with my bare hands. That, Nate Flames, is how it's done. But there's a little road bump, just a little bit. Somehow I got weaseled into doing some sort of four-way match. Well, you know what? That didn't matter. You know why, Nate Flames? No, you don't. Simple truth is this. Dustin Reyes came out on top again. Not because I'm lucky, but because I'm the best. Now, Nate Flames here saw how the master did it. Now, come next week in Norwood, Jesse Emerson, you're going to see how the master does it. Because I'm going to take that American Luchador title off that waist of yours, and it's going to go right around the waist of the pinnacle of wrestling perfection, Dustin Reyes. You ready for that? You look awful, man. We need to get you some new gear. You look just awful. Come on.
Welcome back, wrestling fans, to The Pulse, and we heard earlier it happened. You didn't win. You didn't win.
I won.
Gilbert didn't win. Kaden Assad, he wasn't even in the thing, but Dustin Reyes, when it was all said and done, although there was a lot of controversy there, the fans at ringside are telling me Shank Barzini won.
Shank Barzini's never won.
Well, that's what the fans said. Unfortunately, none of the referees saw it. A four-way was ordered after that battle royal ended inconclusively. Dustin Reyes walked out the winner, and now it's going to be Dustin Reyes and Jesse Emerson for the American Luchador title on Saturday night, March the 27th. And that is, of course, HWA Hysteria in Norwood. But a little update on the Jerks.
Shut up. Shut up. There's a reason Kaden Assad wasn't in the Battle Royal. It's because last week we were in a 3-on-2 match with Irish Airborne. Gilbert. Kaden got kicked in the jaw by Jake Christ, and his jaw was broken. Where were you? What did we bring you in for? To watch our backs? How is one of our... Shut up! How is one of our jaws going to be broken when you're watching our backs? 6 weeks! 6 weeks he's going to be out! 6 weeks! That is my tag team. That's my best friend! Thank you, son. And then tonight in the Battle Royal, you didn't help me win again! Gilbert, you need to get your crap together, or you're going to go from having 2 friends right back down to 0. I'm sorry, Caden.
Well, you know, maybe I have a nice little gift for you guys again. Maybe this will help ease all the stuff that's going on. Just a minute, I have it. Ice chips?
Yeah, nice.
Here you go. Some gobstoppers.
You think that's fun? The man has a broken jaw.
They're jawbreakers that change color.
Do you think that the man has a broken jaw?
Well, they're delicious and fun.
He can't get his tongue out of it. You think that's funny? Gilbert, do you think that... You're a dick.
I thought it was funny, but right now let's go to Bake Sale Bob. He's not funny.
This is Bake Sale Bob, standing by live in the backstage area here. I'm trying to find Danny O'Brien, trying to get a few words with him on what went down tonight. Let's go see if we can find him. Speaking of the devil, here he is. Danny O'Brien, tonight you helped rid the HWA of the Irish Airborne forever. Don't you think there'll be any kind of repercussions to that?
Repercussions? No. I knew that if the Irish Airborne won, my hybrids would not get their title shot. So like I said, I was not going to let that happen. Plus, to me, it's like Christmas in July. Look what they did to my neck. One last prediction for you, Bob. I will be leaving Norwood with the HWA Tag Team Champions.
Well, you heard it here, folks. And let's go to Shane Barzini, who has a few words.
Ron Mathis, you screwed me in the Luchador Challenge Battle Royal. And in the 4-way, after that, well, guess what? Here's a little challenge. Norwood, the 27th. Yes. And when we get our hands around your neck, oh, what a day it will be.
It is a special HWA Hysteria edition of The Pulse right here on HWAOnline.com. Chris the Brain, Ron Mathis. The show just keeps on going, and we just heard some very interesting information, and I cannot believe it. Victory is being guaranteed. And you know what? Will it happen? Will it happen? Will Danny O'Brien, in fact, leave Norwood as the manager of the HWA Tag Team Champions?
Danny O'Brien. We're not talking about Danny O'Brien.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're talking about that freak, Shane Barzini, challenged me to a match in Norwood. First tonight, he cost me my Luchador title shot that I rightfully won.
That's not what I heard.
What you heard is stupid. And then he challenged me to a match. Shank, you want me in Norwood? You want Ron Mathis in Norwood? Why don't you look and see what I do to people in Norwood? I end careers in Norwood. So Shank, you want me in Hysteria? You got it. And I'm going to end your pathetic, miserable existence, you freak!
Earlier today, I had an opportunity to sit down with the American Kickboxer, and while we did promise a part 2 to that exclusive interview, unfortunately Kickboxer had to leave before we could complete it. But he did, however, leave a message for Kid Fabulous.
That's all it is.
Kid, like I said before, you have passed the test. I admit you did better than I thought. As a token of my trust and faith in you, please carry on the name that I have put my blood, sweat, and tears into. From this day on, Kid Fabulous is forever known as the American Kickboxer 2. Make me proud. American Kickboxer.
You know, it wasn't bad enough that I stepped in the ring with Kid Fabulous. Planned on it being an easy night. It didn't turn out that way. He didn't give up. He didn't stop. You know, it wasn't easy enough. He wouldn't give up after 3 weeks. Then American Kickboxer had to stick his nose in the business. Then the next thing I know, one of my worst nightmares in this world, I know that, Necro Butcher had to stick his face in the business. Again, thanks to Kickboxer. Tonight, Kid Fabulous beat Kickboxer. What happened? Kickboxer gave him his mask. 17 years I wrestled Kickboxer. 17 years I haven't been able to sleep at night thinking about that feud. 20 years in this business, and it's starting all over again in the HWA. Well, I can promise you something. I've been in this business for 20 years. I've given it all I have got. Let me tell you something. I'm giving it twice everything I've got now. Age is nothing. I'm in the absolute best shape of my life. And for 20 years in the business, I've got 20 years of knowledge, which makes me that much smarter, and that much tougher, and that much harder. Kid Fabulous, you want to take the mask? You want to take the torch? You don't know what you've started, son, but I can promise you something. This feud ain't gonna last as long, because I'm gonna put an end to it quick, hard, fast, and worse than anything you've ever seen in your life. HWA, get ready for the death of Kid Fabulous.
Do you need oxygen? I mean, not a lot's getting to your brain, I know that much. We got more. We've got another match. How about that no holds barred match?
Those are two big ones, right? The two big guys?
Yeah, those are the two big guys. That'd be King Vu, former HWA heavyweight champion, and the Madness Chris Hall. But here's a little piece of news you don't know.
I know everything.
Well, there's a lot of things you don't know, but here's a piece of news you do not know, and nobody knows because I just found out myself.
Oh, you're so special, Chris the Brain.
Special indeed. That's the key word there, because Tim Tatum, our president, has signed a special referee for that no-holds-barred match, as you saw last week. None of the referees want to be anywhere near that thing. I don't blame them.
Sissies.
The special referee for no-holds-barred in Norwood, Norwood's own Dominique Steele, will be there laying out his brand of justice, I am sure, and what a match that's going to be. That just got a whole lot more interesting, don't you think?
No.
No. If it doesn't involve you, it's not interesting.
You're starting to get it now.
Is that right?
Now you're starting to get it. Chris the Brain's starting to figure things out.
It don't involve you. Why don't you? Maybe you should just leave then. Maybe, I mean, we're about done anyway.
Leave when I'm ready. I'll leave when I'm ready. Okay. You know what I'm ready.
You know what? Good. Right now, with the final word, the man who will take on the Madness Chris Hall, King.
Damn it! Damn it! Oh, Madness. Oh, Madness. Oh, you finally grew a pair of damn balls. And you attack me from behind. You want to attack the king? Huh? You want the king? I see you want the king in Norwood and Hysteria. You want the king? You got the king on the 27th, Madness. Oh, I cannot believe this. Oh. I was just thinking, you are not in the best of terms with Dominique Steele, are you?